the latest attempts to turn over the Pennsylvania election.
I did see that.
That was the last
No
straw,
comment.
wasn't it?
What was that?
I think that is his last opportunity to appeal the Pennsylvania final results.
Don't count on it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I hope so, but I don't count.
I mean, he can, but he doesn't have a chance. I mean, the Supreme Court just said no to his latest attempt.
Well, he's a child. He's going to do everything in his power to get rid
But
of it.
anyway, I'm glad it's finally heading in one direction anyway.
Don't we have a date coming up pretty soon that it's going to be final? Isn't it like the 10th or the 11th or something like that?
Well, the 14th.
I believe it's the 13th.
Okay.
14th. It's Monday.
14th? Monday, okay.
Yeah, that's when the 20 electors are supposed to come gather in Harrisburg and actually formally, cast their votes for Biden.
But that is also when all the other states, the electoral colleges have to be in by a certain time in December, don't they?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just the Pennsylvania date. I don't know when the other states, do theirs.
Yeah, because at some point the electoral college has the final say.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, it sure is.
I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime an election like this, where there's so much protest.
Protests and death threats to individuals who are doing their civic duties by sitting in rooms and counting these ballots. Republicans, Democrats, independents, you name it. I just don't understand how people could threaten them for doing what they feel is right and what the state's constitution is expect them. I just don't get it.
No.
Seems like a small agenda today.
It does. I hope that it'll be fast.
Yeah, me too, but who knows? Ones that we have expected to go long went short, and ones that had supposed to go short went long.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Hey there,
evening,
Amanda.
Councilor Bakay. Hi, Amber.
Hi. How's everyone?
Good. Well, we got a quorum. That's a good thing.
Patrick.
Senor Patrick.
Patrick.
Hello.
Look at that Scottish beard.
Getting there.
I'm turned more white this year.
Yeah, mine too.
It's a whole new look for you guys.
I'm sorry?
I said it's a whole new look for you guys.
I'm aspiring
More
to Pete's
beards,
haircut.
more.
What's that?
I'm aspiring to Pete's haircut. That's coming soon.
This year I decided to let it grow, see what it's going to look like when I get a certain length. but I think it'll disappear eventually again.
I think you look very, I mean, Pete, you look very good. You look like, it's the beard has reached like the Sean Connery stage.
Gotcha.
That's what we all aspire to.
Right.
Oh.
It's a good year for beards, I got to tell you. This is the longest, because, you know, I'm an infant. This is the longest my beard has ever been.
Oh, you ought to let it grow as long as you can get it.
I've been thinking about it. I'm trying to go for like a, you know, Afrocentric wizard kind of vibe. So
Hey, that works.
anyway,
I was accused of mine looking a little bit too much like the lighthouse beard. So that's
Definitely getting that vibe.
all right, we are a full company, it looks like. Hey, so good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Ismail Smith-Waddell, and this is The Price is Right, also known as the December 8th meeting of the Council of the City of Lancaster. Welcome, thanks for tuning in. Mr. Harris, would you call the roll of members, please?
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Ms. Bakay.
Here.
Ms. Craig.
Here.
Ms. Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Here.
Mr. Soto.
Here.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Here. I'd like to take a moment to give a brief shout out to Chris from LNP and DJ Ramsey, who attend every single one of these meetings without fail. So thank you to y'all. Let's go ahead and do the approval of the minutes. I hear a motion.
Approved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Council comments. Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Bakay.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Aye.
Mr. Soto.
Aye.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. Thank you. Proclamations, honors, awards, and resolutions of recognition. Do we have any tonight, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
Okay, that brings us to our first public comment period, reserved for those persons who have contacted the city clerk before the meeting. Do we have any, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
Okay, that brings us to reports requested by council. Mr. Harris?
We have none tonight, Mr. President.
All right. So reports of committees of council held on December 1st, 2020. We're going to start with the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Garcia Molina.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Public Safety Committee met. Two of those agenda items, well, actually both of the agenda items will be on tonight's agenda. The first one being Administration Bill number 18, 2020, which is an ordinance that makes a one-word change to extend the probationary period for new police officers from 1 year to 2 years. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. And then Administration Resolution 64, 2020, which is approving a $25,000 grant for upgrades to the Police Station Emergency Operations Center. And those were the only two items on the agenda, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Garcia Molina. Next, we have Public Works. Councilor Soto.
Thank you, Council President. Public Works Committee did not meet on December 1st. But there's nothing to report, sir.
Thank you. Economic Development. Councilor Arroyo.
Mr. President, the Economic Development Committee did not meet. Thanks.
Finance Committee. Councilor Bakay.
Thank you. Okay, so on Tuesday, December 1st, the Finance Committee met and we received a budget overview presentation from Patrick Hopkins, which covered Bills 16 and 17, 2020, the adoption of the budget and the setting of the real estate tax rate for 2021, respectively, and Resolution 62 and 63, 2020, setting rates for stormwater and solid waste and recycling, respectively. In the general fund, no real estate tax increase was proposed. There is a stormwater fee rate increase proposed of $3 for every 1,000 square feet of impervious surface. This is to fund green infrastructure and help bring the city in compliance with the EPA consent decree. No sewer rate increases are proposed for 2021. There is a proposed rate increase of $32 per year for solid waste and recycling for all customers, which is directly related to costs of the new hauler contract that went into effect in October of 2020 and recycling market impacts. The combined operating budget of all of these funds total $128,642,099. Mr. Hopkins also reviewed the impacts of COVID-19 on city finances in 2020. Expenses in 2020 were cut by about $500,000, much of it due to furloughing staff. This allowed the city to use less reserve funds than anticipated. The impact of revenue losses, though not as much as the worst case scenario that had been planned for, will likely continue into 2021. He also shared information on increased costs in healthcare and pension obligations. State pension aid decreases to the city by $315,000 in 2021, while minimum municipal obligations are up. The 2021 proposed budget includes the use of $4.9 million in reserve funds. Mr. Hopkins explained the historic balance of reserve funds, a 5-year projection of budget and reserves. The projections operate off of assumptions that revenues do not increase and costs aren't cut, but are still a powerful and stark visual representation of the need for more revenue options for third-class cities. Despite Lancaster's vibrant neighborhoods, sound financial management, and enviable economic development, we are not immune to the pitfalls of our current system that overburden our property owners. Resolution 59 of 2020, amending the capital improvement plan, was also discussed at that meeting and will come up later in our agenda. Stay tuned next week for my exciting report on our budget hearings from Saturday, December 5th. That will be held next week on the 15th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Beke. As you know, the bar for such a report has previously been set pretty high. So if you'd like to include some kind of theatrical or musical accompaniment, for anybody's benefit, really, just feel welcome to do so. No pressure.
And no pressure or anything, but yeah, I have a week to figure it out, so thank you.
That brings us to community planning. Councillor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. Community planning did not meet last week.
All right. Finally, to Personnel Committee, Councillor Diaz.
Yes, Mr. President. The Personnel Committee met Tuesday, December 8th, and reviewed the following appointments and reappointments. Elizabeth DeSanto for appointment to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2023. Christina Deal for reappointment to the City Revitalization and Improvement Zone Authority for 5-year term from January the 1st, 2021 to January 1st, 2026. Marshall Snavely for reappointment to the City Revitalization and Improvement Zone Authority for 5-year term from January 1st, 2021 to January 1st, 2026. James Wagner for reappointment to the Downtown Investment District Authority for 5-year term from December 31st, 2020 to December 31st, 2025. Pastor Timothy Metzer for reappointment to the Downtown Investment District Authority for 5-year term from December 31st, 2020 to December 31st, 2025. David Nice for reappointment to the High Education Authority for a 5-year term from January 1st, 2021 to January 1st, 2026. Daniel Main for reappointment to the Historical Architectural Review Board for a 3-year term from January 1st to 2021 to December 31st, 2023. Mimi Shapiro for reappointment to the Historical Architectural Review Board for a 3-year term from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2023. Christopher Peters for reappointment to Historical Commission for a 3-year term from January 31st, 2020 to December 31st, 2023. Stephen Funk for reappointment to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term from December 31st, 2020 to December 31st, 2023. I'd like to make a motion that all these appointments be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Council comments. Chris, DJ, Stephen, any comments from the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Bakay,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. All right.
And
Thank
also,
Go ahead.
the Personnel Committee also review Council Resolution 60-2020 for reappointment for Robert Shank to the Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term, and also Council Resolution number 61-2020 for reappointment to Hari S. Miller as the alternate for Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term. Both of those resolutions will come up later for the agenda, and that concludes my report.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Diaz. I believe that moves us to ordinances for first reading, which do not require a motion or a second. Which do not require a motion or a second. Which do not require a motion or a second. The first of these, pardon me, or the only one actually, is Bill number 18-2020. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. Excuse me. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lancaster, amending Chapter 67 of the Code of the City of Lancaster, Police Bureau, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 6710, Probation, Subpart B, New Hires to the Police Bureau, to require that all new hires within the Bureau of Police be made subject to a probationary period of 2 years, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability of the ordinance, and providing that the ordinance shall take effect in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The title, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I'll hear a motion. Nope. One of these days, one day, 20 years from now, I'll get it. My apologies, everybody. Council comments. Councilor Garcia Molina, would you like to provide any context or information?
Sure. Just kind of adding on to what I said before, really, this is a one-word change to extend the probationary period for new police officers from 1 year to 2 years. The other thing that was mentioned to us during the committee meeting is that there had been discussions with the president of the Police Officers Union, and they raised no objection to it. But really what we have here is just the opportunity to really get to know new police officers wholly before we commit to them long-term. And I believe, Patrick, if you want to add in anything that I didn't, nope. And that's about it, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any comments from the public? Hearing none, we move on to, subheading B, resolutions. Beginning with Administration Resolution number 59-2020. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster approving an amended capital project list to be funded by the proceeds of the City of Lancaster General Obligation Bonds Series of 2018.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Bakay.
Thank you. So this is, I think, also pretty straightforward. Essentially, what this will allow us to do, it changes the capital improvement plan for additional funds needed to complete ADA ramp requirements across the city. And the best part of this is that doing this will allow us to finish them almost a year ahead of schedule. Mr. Hopkins, if there's anything that I missed on that, I think you spoke to this at committee.
I did. So the original budget for this project was $1.5 million, or at least the original budget from 2018 bond funds was 1.5 million. That was set a few years ago, really with the expectation that when we got close to finishing up the entire project, all of the ramps that were required to be either replaced or installed due to the consent decree, that we would have to come back and amend the budget when we had final numbers. And now we have those final numbers and a close to final schedule for installation of the ramps. And the additional $450,000 will allow us to complete the project, hopefully by the end of 2021, which would be about a year ahead of the required schedule.
Great. That's all I have for it.
Okay. Any other council comments? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. All right, next we have Council Resolution number 60-2020. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster reappointing Robert M. Schenk, 10 North Market Street, Unit 408, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, to the City of Lancaster Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term effective January 1, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This one, I believe, goes to Councilor Diaz.
Yes, we're basically reappointing, wait, it was 60-60. Yeah, reappointing Robert M. Schenk to the Zoning Hearing Board for the 3-year term.
Great. Any other council comments? Anything else from the public? Mr. Harris?
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. That brings us to Council Resolution number 61-2020. Mr. Harris.
Resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster reappointing Harvey S. Miller, 427 West Lemon Street, as an alternate to the City of Lancaster Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term effective January 1st, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Diaz.
Again. We're going to have Harvey Snavely Miller. He is going to be the alternate then for the Zoning Hearing Board for the next 3-year term.
Excellent. Any other council comments? From the public?
President Smith-Waddell frozen for anyone else.
Say, he's either sitting very, very still or he's frozen, and I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
All right, I am back. Where did we end up?
You got it.
We're about to call for a vote on Resolution 61.
All right, well, if you can, okay, the internet connection is apparently unstable where I am, but please go ahead, Mr. Harris, and call the vote.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. All right. Is this ooh, that seems like it's working better. Great. Okay, moving on, we have resolution number 62, 2020. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster requesting a Keystone Communities grant of $25,000 from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for upgrades to the Emergency Operations Center.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Garcia Molina.
Thanks. So this one is also pretty straightforward. The police department is just asking for our support in applying for a $25,000 grant that's meant to support them with much needed upgrades to the police station's emergency operations center, particularly their audio and visual equipment. We learned during Captain Umstead's presentation that much of their AV system hasn't been updated since the police station opened up 17 years ago. So these are some much needed updates that the grant would be supporting with. The other thing to mention is just, as we learned from the presentation on Saturday, so much of the city's work is just done through grants. So this is just another kind of demonstration of how important these grants really are in supporting the city's work. And I don't know if I missed anything, Patrick, but feel free to add in there too.
No, the only other thing I'd add, I guess, is that while it's located in the Police Bureau building, it's actually the Emergency Operations Center for the entire city. So if there is a significant fire emergency, a weather emergency, anything like that, the Emergency Operations Center there is used by all city staff in that case.
Great. Any other council comments? Any other comments from the assembled public? Well, hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Baker,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. Thank you. That brings us to our second public comment period, which is reserved for comments on items that are not on the agenda. Of course, we are keeping our time limit to 3 minutes, and we're starting with our name and the street that we live on. Are there any public comments at this time? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? And we're out. All right, moving right along, that brings us to the report of the mayor. Mayor Sirachi.
Good evening, councilors. I have a very brief report, which begins with a thank you for participating in Saturday's very full budget hearings. And so I appreciated, just being able to move through that. It was a long day and a lot of information. So that's part one. Part two is to let you know that Chief Bay began yesterday as interim police chief. And so yesterday was his first day. And I was in touch with him today and asked him how today went. And he said that it went muy excelente, to quote him. So I'm looking forward to continuing to assist in onboarding and helping to support him as he gets up and rolling. And he has been welcomed by the Bureau, and the captains have done a really good job of planning the first week or two of his onboarding. And that is it for my report tonight. I will be obviously back again on December the 15th, and then we have our special session on the 29th for the passage of the budget, which will be just in the nick of time, as it is our obligation to have a budget in place before the start of our new fiscal year on January 1st. And this is, again, just to note that this is not typical practice, but understanding that some of the advertisement wasn't exactly what it needed to be. And so to be absolutely certain that we are crossing every T and dotting every I, we made this change. So I appreciate your forbearance with the scheduling changes, and we're rolling to the finish line of this year. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, Mayor Sirachi.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. This brings us to my report as president of council. The chief point of my report is if you read Lancaster Online, you will see that we have amassed nearly 400 new COVID-19 positive cases in the last 24 hours. So I'll use my assigned time to just go ahead and encourage everybody to please, no matter what you do, keep wearing your masks, keep washing your hands, keep maintaining social distancing, and avoid those large gatherings wherever possible. I know it's hard during the holidays, but I'm still hearing about people traveling across multiple states, attending gatherings of 12, 25, or 50 or more. And I simply can't, like, I have compassion for how lonely the holidays can be. I have one family member in Lancaster County whom I don't see because of quarantine. But all that being said, we still really need you to do everything that you can, because you might go to that event, and then you go to the grocery store, and then you might get sick with something else, or you might have an injury, and you might go need to see a nurse or a doctor and might infect that nurse or another patient in the waiting room. So please, whatever you can do to limit the spread of coronavirus as we try to make it through what is going to be a challenging winter will of course be appreciated. I'll also take a moment to thank many of the persons who have participated in the protest and activism in Lancaster in this summer, who have approached the interim appointment of Chief Bay with cautious optimism. And I think that these are folks who are going to be who are going to have some trepidations, whoever our new interim police chief was. And so I just want to applaud them for having that. And in fact, in a time when optimism is in short supply. So thank you very much for that. Please tune in for our our next council meeting on the 15th. It's going to be an unusual December. And our council budget meeting, as the mayor said, on the 29th, where hopefully we will approve a 2021 budget for the city of Lancaster. That's the end of my report, so I'll open it up for other council comments. Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, stay warm. Thank you.